Good afternoon, Patriots. It's been a long day. Obviously, a lot of us have to work, so I'm going to give everybody enough time to hopefully they be able to come on. Oh, this is great. For those that are participating, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for coming on and taking the time to listen to me and for me providing the evidence. Obviously, the reason why we're here is to continue exposing the corruption. As I stated in yesterday's video on Mondays and Sunday, I'm going to continue to provide evidence. New evidence, obviously, and then some of the new evidence supported by other evidence or yesterday's evidence. Now, this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of starting kind of late today, but I had to go to the library and print some stuff out. And obviously everything's about fire in this subject. This subject has to do with fire. Fire prevention and control. I put the links in there for people to go and can follow. Now, you're gonna, as I stated before, I'm gonna ask this: why wasn't this evidence ever brought up to the Hammond's attorney? Why didn't the Hammond's attorney ever introduce this evidence to the jury? And if the Hammond's attorney ever read any of this information, congressional bills, public law bills, whatever you want to call it, House resolution bills, Senate bills, whatever they want to call it, at the end of the day, did they ever read any of these bills? And if they didn't, then why not? Most fundamental question is, why not? So, as I stated yesterday, here, on this bill that I'm here, it's called public law, and I'm going to read it for you guys. It says, House Resolution 1061, providing for the consideration of House Resolution 11989, a bill to enhance the public health and safety by reducing human and material loss resulting from fire. There you go. I'm going to read it again. House Resolution 1016, resolution providing for the consideration of House Resolution 11989, a bill to enhance the public health and safety by reducing the human and material losses resulting from fire. That's what it says. I didn't write this. You can follow with the hyperlinks that I've posted there. That's what it says. And by the way, this House resolution did pass, and I'm going to show it to you. And if you guys go ahead and read this, you'll see, and open up the hyperlink and read it and read along with me, you'll see it passed. This is back in 1974. It passed, meaning this bill is relevant, still active, and still in the books for the Hammond's attorney to use. Why wasn't this ever brought up? Now, it passed and agreed to the House measures. Let me read it correctly. On April 4, 2005 of 1974, passed and agreed to the House. Measured passed House. Then it continues on saying it passed. I didn't write it. It's highlighted. It says right there, it passed. I didn't fabricate, alter, or create any of these documents. These are there for every American to see, and these are congressional records. This you can look up through Congress. I didn't write this. And as I stated in yesterday's video, this bill, this House Resolution 1016, 93rd Congress in 1973 and 1974, it supports what I read yesterday. Senate Bill 1769, 93rd Congress, right there. And why is this so vital? As 1769, an act to reduce losses of life and property, fire prevention and control for other purposes. What other purposes? The purposes for us, for we the people, to start a backfire, to stop any fire to destroy public or private property, including human life. Is this what they're talking about? Because according to this document, that's exactly what it says. So this bill, and I'm gonna continue repeating it. House Resolution 1016, 93rd Congress, is supported by Senate Bill 1769. It also supports House Resolution 11989. Now, you'll say, Lazaro, what do you say that? How do you know? Okay, well, let's go back to House Resolution 1069. And here it goes, right here. All nice and highlighted for you. And I'm going to read it for you, and it's right there. And if you open up the hyperlinks, it says it right there. I'm going to read it to you. It says, "The states that upon the adoption of the resolution, it shall be in order to move the House resolve itself into the committees of the whole House and the State of the Union for the consideration of the bill H.R. 11989 to enhance the public health and safety by reducing the human and material losses resulting from fire through better fire prevention and control and for other purposes." That's exactly what it says. That's why this bill is so vital with the other bills. And it continues going. Let me bring additional information out. And it tells you on this bill that there is a House report. The House report right there. Let me bring it to you so you guys can see and see if you can bring it to focus. That House report that's there highlighted, that House report, it's a House Report 93-956. By all means, it's House Rules. I advise you to read that. See, House Rules? And right there. I advise every American to read that. I advise the Hammond's attorney to read this. And if he's not reading it, that means he's in bed with all the criminals that are going after the Hammond's land, like the BLM, Chard Cargis, Stephen E. Grassi, Boyd Britton, Russ Young, King Williams, Zach Williams, Les Zate, Scott McAllister. All these criminals, if they don't take the time to read these bills that I read, well then by all means, you know they're in bed. And I wonder, would the Blue Mountain Eagle ever report on this bill? Would the Oregonian ever report on this bill? What about Blue Mountain Eagle? Would they ever report on this bill? Probably not. I wonder if, I'll be amazed if they actually write a summary on these bills and say, you know what? It's time to bring the Hammonds back home, according to these bills. Because, again, I did not write these. I did not alter these. I did not fabricate nor created these documents. These are coming from Congress. And Congress... the only branch of government that can create laws is Congress by or per the United States Constitution. And they get grants to follow these public law bills. And we know, as I said yesterday, Stephen E. Grassi is definitely getting grants. So, why aren't the Hammonds not home? Here you go. And I'll read this. House Resolution 1016, 93rd Congress, 1973-1974. It passed and it supports House Resolution Bill 11989, Fire Prevention and Control, and it also supports Senate 1769, an act to reduce loss of fire and property, to prevent prevent and control fires, and for other purposes. I didn't write these bills, ladies and gentlemen. They did. Now, let's go to public law. Public law, this is public law. Public law, and actually somebody was generous to actually write all this out. Public Law 107-171, May 13, 2002, 116th, status 473. You can see right there. That's exactly what it says. I'll leave it there. There's a hyperlink for that. You guys can also click to that hyperlink. But somebody wrote just a couple of paragraphs to support the actual bill, and I'm going to show you a copy of the actual bill right there. That's the actual bill right there. I want you guys to get a good view of this bill. And there's hyperlinks. And by the way, if those links decide to disappear, everything's saved in a PDF file, and it can be also emailed to you, or I can send it to you on Facebook. Whatever you guys decide, I can do that. And I'm going to read Public Law 107-171, May 13 of 2002. And also is supported by 16 United States Code 2106C, as in Charlie. I'll repeat this. This public law 107-171, May 13, 2002, is supported by 16 United States Code 2106C, as in Charlie. Just as a footnote for the Hammond's attorney to look into. That's if he decides to look into. Then again, he might be in bed with all the criminals that I mentioned. So I am having problems with Facebook. I apologize. For some reason, some people don't want the truth to come out. And I apologize. So it's out of my control. All I'm doing is bringing the evidence. And all we can do is fight these criminals with the truth. Certain people might not want the truth to come out. But I am going to continue exposing these criminals. I am hoping you guys can hear me. Cindy, I wouldn't be surprised if actually Facebook would not allow you to listen to me. But I need to continue. So, I'm going to read this Public Law Bill 107-171. And this is by Congress finds the following. So I didn't write this. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that. And here you go. For you guys, so I can show it to you guys exactly what I'm going to be reading. See right there? See right there where it says Congress finding the following. Remember, I did not write this. I did not create this nor alter this. So, here we go. Wildland fires threaten not only the forest resource of the United States, but also thousands of communities with the wildlands and the wildland urban interface. I'll repeat that again. I'll reread this so you guys can have a clue of what this is saying. Wildland fires threaten not only the forest resource of the United States, but also thousands of communities with the wildlands and the wildland urban interface. Not just the forest, not the national forest, but it also says thousands of communities. What does community mean? I wonder if the Hammonds live in a community. I wonder if this applies to the Hammonds. So, and these are questions. I'm trying to keep it simple. The reason why I'm trying to keep this simple is people to understand, to comprehend what I'm saying, what I'm articulating, and what I'm reading from these public law bills. Because at the end of the day, this affects every rancher, every Native American, every community that lives around a national forest or a state forest, in which you have to start a backfire to save your property, and you have the authority under Congress to do so. So let me go to the next page. Let me go to the next paragraph right here as I highlight it. I'm reading it off. Adequate authorities exist to tackle the wildfire issues on the landscape level on federal land. There is limited authority to take action on most private lands. Let me repeat that. While adequate authorities exist to tackle the wildfire issues at the landscape level on federal land, that's a key word. There is limited, that's another key word, limited authority to take action on most private land. That is another key point. Which why the federal government, not the Congress, gave you the authority to start a backfire. And as I stated yesterday, there are 5 ways to stop a fire. And don't take my word for it. Look it up here in the congressional records. But if you want to get to the bottom of, you want to see it for yourself, go to Capitan, New Mexico, go to Smokey the Bear there in that museum, and they'll show you the 5 ways to stop fire. And backfire is one of them. We have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have a problem with the attorneys. We have a problem with the de facto court. We have a problem with the de facto judges. We have a problem with the de facto attorneys coming out of Lewis and Clark Law School. We have a problem with dirty politicians that are part members of the American Bar Association. We have a problem that our learning institutions are not teaching these congressional bills. We have a problem that the sheriffs don't know about these congressional bills. We have a problem that the people lack the knowledge of the Constitution, that lack the knowledge of the Federalist Papers, that lack the knowledge of the Bill of Rights, that lack the knowledge of the Constitution, and the Federalist Papers, because this applies to you, and there's no separation of powers, as I stated yesterday, because these criminal bar members are politicians, judges, and attorneys that are preventing you from educating or empowering yourself with knowledge and with the truth, because these are facts. This is what was written. I did not write this. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread it again. While adequate authorities exist to tackle wildfire issues on landscapes on federal land, meaning federal land is more important than the community. I didn't say it. That's what it states in Public Law 107-171, May 13, 2002. But all the other documents that I just mentioned earlier tells you can start a backfire to prevent fire. Why? Because remember, the federal government only cares about federal land and not community. Here you go, just in case for those that said it was upside down. It says it right there. And there's a hyperlink there for you guys to open it up and read it. Read the entire bill. Don't read portion of it. Don't skim through it. Don't read every other word. I want you to read every word. I want you to dissect these bills, these congressional bills, these public law bills, because you need to. Because if you are a rancher or if you're a Native American, you most definitely want to read these bills. If you have a house or a community that resides around federal land or national parks, you definitely want to read these bills. So let me continue. While adequate authority exists to tackle wildfire issues on the landscape level on federal land, there is limited authority to take action on most private lands. And the largest threat to life and property exists on private land. Let me read the last paragraph. There is a limited authority to take action on most private lands, and the largest threat to life and property exists on private land. Basically, this bill means you are meaningless. And you are there to defend yourself, to defend for your property, for you to defend for your livestock, for you to defend your land, your resource, your water, your lumber, your minerals. Whatever you have on that land, that property, that deed that belongs to you, you're on your own, according to this. Public Law 107-171. Let me continue on. But the funny thing is, according to these other bills, it contradicts what they're saying. It contradicts everything they're saying on Public Law 107-171, May 13, 2002. Contradiction. Why are we not surprised? Isn't that what we pay the government? to play both sides? Remember, when there's smoke, there is fire. Motive equals greed. So if you have minerals in your property, or the government wants those water rights, and they can't buy you from your land, and they can't beat you in their de facto courts, they're going to burn you out. And they will burn you out. One way, shape, or form. How many times have the BLM started backfires and went uncontrolled? How many times did they just start a fire? Just a fire, so they can replenish the land and get out of control. Because you have incompetent government employees. That's what they are. Incompetent, ignorant government employees. Don't know what the hell they're doing, but we the taxpayers are funding these idiots. Let me continue. Cooperative management related to wildfire threats. The Secretary may cooperate with the state forest and equivalent state officials in the management of lands in the United States for the following purposes: aid in wildfire prevention and control, protect communities from wildfire threats, enhance the growth and maintenance of trees and forests that promote overall forest health. But didn't I tell you there was a contradiction? 4 minutes ago, I just showed you the bills that contradict this, but there's one section, one stipulation right here. One stipulation in this public law. The same public law that I just read to you, it's contradicting itself. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to prove it to you. And I'm going to read it. The cooperative management in relation to wildfire threats, the Secretary may cooperate with the states and foresters and equivalent state officials in the management of the lands of the United States for the following purposes: aid in wildfire prevention and control, and one, and then two, protect communities from wildfire threats. Look at that. Protect communities from wildfire threats. But hold on. What did the first page say? Let's go back to the first page. Double talk. When have you met an attorney that speaks the truth? That's all I gotta say. Tell me one attorney that speaks the truth. Here you go, right here. I'm gonna go back to the original page. While adequate authorities exist to tackle the wildfire issues on the landscape level on federal land, there is limited authority to take action on private land, and the largest threat to life and property exists on private land. Limited authority to take action on most private land. Does that not ring a bell? Does that not make sense? Do you not see the contradiction? And if there's a contradiction, what the hell's going on? Double talk? Double talk from attorneys? I'll take this part of the bill and I'll apply this part of the bill, and then go after the Hammonds to say they're terrorists because they created a backfire to save their property, in which they have the authority under those other public laws that I read earlier. But there's a contradiction here on this public law bill. 107-171, May 13, 2002. And if you ain't going to read it, well then guess what? Kiss your property goodbye. For all those ranchers and all those Native Americans and those communities that live next to a national forest, kiss it goodbye. Because all I'm doing is bringing you the truth. And what's his whole purpose? What's the motive behind everything? The government doesn't do anything. The government doesn't care about us. They care about their self-interest. They care about their hedge funds. They care about their earmarks. They care about their donations, their campaign contributions. When have you seen a senator, a congressman, a legislator come into your community and ask you what is wrong? When has he taken the audacity to take your comments and your letter and your concerns to those criminal, corrupt officials? Why did he or she did not appoint a common law grand jury to investigate your evidence? I wonder if he's in bed with these criminals. I wonder if he has something to gain. Food for thought. Why? Because here you go. Yesterday, I told you about Quicksilver deposit of the Steens Mountain. Here you go. Quicksilver deposit to the Steens Mountain. This is yesterday, which we talked about. Here you go. Southeast Oregon. And what did I say? Geological Survey Bulletin 9951B. Oh, guess what? That is supported with this other one that we were just found. And I'm going to go back and forth to this because why? Because it's all about minerals. And for those that that are hesitating, that say no, not about minerals, when I get done with this and our PowerPoint presentation, you're going to be amazed. Here you go. You see there's a little footnote right here. That little footnote means something extremely symbolic. For those that want to do the research, look it up. Go to the archives. I want you, if you live in Oregon, if you live in Portland, or you live in Salem, you want to go to the archives and look for this. This is what you want to look for. Now, why is this so important? Remember what I said? Everything has a motive. See? Look at that. All the Oregon stamp seal. See where it says reference right there to the left of me? And it says the Department of Geology and Minerals Industry, 1069 State Office Building, Portland, 1, Oregon. Bulletin number 55, Quicksilver in Oregon. Here you go. The Oregon board members and all that right there. That's the Oregon board members that were participating in this. Hey, I'm going to bring you something. Ore was one of them. See, all about minerals. Right there. These are all about minerals. And you see that little stamp right next to my little finger? That means something symbolic. So if you live in Portland or in Salem, I advise you go look up to the archives and look for this information. Because 181 pages. And it was February 4th, 1963, right there. February 4th, 1963, for those that want to see it. For those that want to take the time to research it. Now, why is this so symbolic? Because look, they even give you a breakdown. They even give you a table of contents. Right there. You see that table of contents right there? I'm going to read it to you. So you can see Southwest Oregon, Northwest Oregon, North Central Oregon, South Central Oregon, Southeastern Oregon. Who lives in Southeastern Oregon? The Hammonds. That's right. Stephen E. Grassi. Wasn't he in the committee there by Harney County in Southeast Oregon? Interesting, huh? How things come together. Motive. And by the way, and also northeastern Oregon. So Southwest Oregon, Northwest Oregon, North Central Oregon, South Central Oregon, Southeast Oregon, and Northeastern Oregon. Here you go. Economic Geological of Quicksilver. That's what it says. I didn't write this. And for those that can't see it, I'm gonna even highlight it for you so you guys can see it. I apologize, but here you go. Right there. It says it right there for you guys to read up. For those that have lands, for those that only care about ranching, I respect you, but guess what? There's a high probability if you live in Steens Mountain and you're ranching on Steens Mountain, there's minerals there. I didn't say this. That's what they said. And it's the Minerals and Geological of Oregon, Quicksilver deposit. Oh, by the way, those that want to go to Southeast, those that want to go look into the information on Southeastern Oregon on minerals, it's chapter 5, page 181. I'm going to show it to you right there. Here, chapter 5. Here, chapter 5. That's chapter 5 right there. It's highlighted. Southeastern Oregon, page 181. Why is this so important? Because those that live around Steens Mountain is affecting you. Remember what? This is back February 1963, this reference report. So let me go back to Quicksilver, the other one. Here, Quicksilver, here's Steens Mountain right there for you guys to see. I'm going to show you this. Normally I would try not to get ahead of myself, but I'm going to read this portion right here. This small little portion for you guys. This highlighted portion, I apologize. I'm going to read this highlighted portion. Here you go. The range consists of Steens Mountain and Weblol Mountain in a dissected fault block, 90 miles long, the northern south direction, as much as 25 miles wide, tilted gently to the west. And by the way, this was back in March 3rd, 1849, this report, according to this. I didn't write this, they wrote this. Here, there's a state seal right there where it says it. But this goes hand in hand with this bill. Why does it go hand in hand? Because it's Quicksilver, and you'll understand. And this matter of fact, as I was reading through this, Josephine County is also involved in this. That's a funny thing, because we know that they're mining in Josephine County. See right there, Josephine County and Curry. See, that's Josephine County. If you go into that hyperlink, you'll see that hyperlink, and that is page 0008. Actually, that has southwestern Oregon, page 35. It's called west of the Quicksilver Belt in Josephine and Curry counties. That's what it says there. And this bill does go all the way down to all the way to the Steens Mountain, because again, we go to Steens Mountain, in which Stephen E. Grassie's all involved in Steens Mountain, because I have all the public law bills and the testimony in which he provided in front of Congress, as I stated yesterday. So let me go over here. I want you to see this beautiful map. This beautiful map. This is one of many maps. This beautiful map all consists of Steens Mountain, and it adds, guess what? Nevada. And remember yesterday what I told you, that they're mining in Nevada, because Steens Mountains go all the way down to Nevada, to the point of Nevada. Matter of fact, here you go. The Steens Mountain right there, you see that? I'm going to read it to you, highlighted. The Steens Mountain and Weblol Mountain extend for about 90 miles across Harney County and southeast Oregon, stretching from near the Oregon to the Nevada line on the parallel 42nd, Nevada line on the 42nd parallel, northward almost to the 43rd parallel, right there. And that is Nevada. That is Nevada, Oregon, Nevada, right there. And I'm going to show you, remember I said Winnemucca, Nevada. By the way, Winnemucca, Nevada, right there where it says Winnemucca, Nevada. I'm not probably pronouncing it correctly. They are mining today. Today, if you go to Winnemucca, Nevada, they are mining. Don't take my word for it. Research it. Look it up for yourself. That is where they're mining as of today. I want you guys to see that, because this is extremely important. See, these lands belong to the people. And if it belongs to the people, then where in the hell does the federal government have jurisdiction to mine on federal land? Isn't this a violation of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17? This is my point. My point is that if the government cannot buy your land or force you out of your land, they will start a backfire. That backfire will, one way, shape, or form, destroy your property, unless you are able to create a backfire, which you have a constitutional right, according to Congress, to start a backfire. You have that right. I want everybody to go back to yesterday's video. These new documents, in conjunction with yesterday's documents, demonstrate where all the minerals are at, especially Steens Mountain. And as I told you, the Hammond, do the Hammonds live or reside on Steens Mountain? Does Stephen E. Grassie have his hands in Steens Mountain? I'm not even going to go to Blue Mountain. I'm not even going to contemplate about Blue Mountain or Grassy Mountain. We know he has his hands. I want to emphasize strictly on Steens Mountain. Is Grassy involved in any committees regarding Steens Mountain? Is Stephen E. Grassy part of any public law pertaining to Steens Mountain? Did Stephen E. Grassy ever used or phrased or quoted any public laws regarding Steens Mountain? These are the questions I'm asking because I know the answer to these questions. I want you to ask these questions. And remember what I said yesterday? Find the year of when Stephen E. Grassy moved into Harney County. There's a reason. Remember when I told you yesterday to find out when Stephen E. Grassy participated in committees? That was yesterday, but there is a reason. Didn't I tell you yesterday when did Stephen E. Grassy started to run for public office? There's a reason. There's a reason for all this. There is a motive. Where there is fire, there is smoke. This is what I'm trying to bring to the American people. The Hammonds had a constitutional right, a moral right, and an obligation to start a backfire to protect their property. And we know, according to documents in which Stephen E. Grassy was participating, that the Hammonds have minerals. Now, what type of minerals? That is for you to decide according to Stephen E. Grassy's committee. I did not write that document. I did not create that document. I did not fabricate that document. I did not alter that document. That document will come out in the PowerPoint presentation. Because once you see that document and you see all the evidence regarding to all the minerals is why Stephen E. Grassy did not look out for the best interests of the Hammonds, nor did he stop that de facto courtroom in which he had an obligation to do as a public official. And if he did not know any of these documents, then he's one ignorant, incompetent buffoon. Tomorrow, I want to set you another public law bill regarding fires. You can go to yesterday's and Sundays. How many bills I've spoken about fires? There are more to come. All about fires. 5 different classifications of how to stop a fire. Includes backburn. So how in the world are Hammonds incarcerated? This is for the information for every American person to read, to get educated and empower themselves, and start asking these questions. And for Lars Larson, I know you're in bed. I know you're in bed with Kate Brown. I know you are in bed with Stephen E. Grassy. I know you are in bed with David Ward. I also know that you are definitely in bed with Les Zate and Scott McAllister. And let me tell you this much. You are not a conservative. I will debate you and all the other buffoons I mentioned, including King Williams and Zach Williams and his freaking wife and Blue Mountain Eagle. I will be happy to debate even Boyd Brain, Andy Benz, Cher Brian Wolf, Kate Brown, Ron Wyden, Jeff Merkley, Greg Walden. Any of these documents say otherwise. This is why Lars Larson avoids me, avoids Brady, and avoids other individuals that I will not mention right now. And there's a reason why this criminal, this so-called conservative radio talk host, Lars Larson, has avoided these issues, because these are facts. And matter of fact, do not extend the invitation to me. How about extending the invitation to the Finnegan family? How about extending the invitation to the Bundy family? How about extending the invitation to Shauna Cox? How about extending the invitation to Daryl Thorne? How about extending the invitation to the Hammonds? How about them bringing these documents to you to present to you so the American people can know the truth? But you are bought and paid for by Les Zates and all the other criminals that I mentioned. So those in the West Coast that listen to Lars Larson, that think he's a conservative, he's done. It's over. And I called him out, and if he wants to debate, more than happy to debate. Let's have a public forum, a debate. And if you don't want to debate with me, then bring those families that I mentioned. Because idiots like you are keeping the truth from coming out. And idiots like you are having these idiots that I mentioned going on your radio show. So my point is, one way, shape, or form, if the government cannot buy you out, and if they can't beat you in the de facto government, in the de facto courts, they will burn you out. But again, you have a duty and obligation to start a backfire. And as I said it again, go to Capitan, New Mexico, go to Smokey Bear, and you'll see it. 5 characteristics of stopping a fire. And who used backfires? Native Americans were the first ones. Just a clue. And then the ranchers came along and learned and used it. Prior to the creation of the BLM, prior to the creation of the Department of Fish and Wildlife, prior to the creation of the Department of U.S. Forestry, before we had all these de facto agencies, they were already doing it. Because what? In Capitan, New Mexico, where Smokey the Bear, that's where it's at. That's where the evidence is at. I posted the evidence already. The pictures are there. And if those that want the pictures, me to put them, there's 16 to 20 pictures. I'll post those 16 to 20 pictures on once we get off this live stream for you to read. Or if you wanted me to send it to you through private message, I'll send it to you through private message so you can review. One way, shape, or form, you will have it. I am not holding these documents back. I will give these documents to Shauna Cox, as I promised to Shauna Cox. And I hope that Kelly and John Lamb and Gavin Simon will continue this narrative and to look up these bills and to talk about these bills, because the world needs to know the truth. These innocent men are unlawfully incarcerated. This is just Oregon. And when I get done with Nevada, and once I finish this PowerPoint presentation on Oregon, I'll promise you, I will emphasize strictly in Nevada. And I'm going to bury Harry Reid and Rory Reid and Brian Rutledge and Gloria Navarro, just like we're going to bury Anna J. Brown and Anna Akins. And all the criminals, Sally Amanda Marshall and Stacy Beckerman. All from the Lewis and Clark Law School. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show America. And I'm going to show America how they're stealing from you. Because we as taxpayers, as American taxpayers, are paying for these criminals to steal land from the Native Americans and from the ranchers. But at the same time, them buying the land back, pennies on the dollars, to sell it to start a community in which we have to buy a house at $250,000. And I will present that. So, to everybody, I want to say thank you that's listening. I hope this message gets through. For the sake of the Hammonds, the Bundys, the Finnegans, especially Joe Robinson, the Haggs, and actually David Haig from Alaska, and Schaefer Cox from Alaska, even though they were not directly related with respect to the land grabbing, but they were also unlawfully incarcerated, Schaefer Cox, regarding the defective government. And Joe Robinson, we know, are the 3 ponds. And all these documents just demonstrate, and Joe Robinson has minerals in his land. And we know why the defective government, Malloy, was going after Joe Robinson's land, because of the minerals. And those minerals belong to the people. Those minerals should be paying our debt, our national debt. And if it's not paying the national debt, then what is it paying? Whose pocket is it going to? Whose hedge fund is it going to on Wall Street? Those are the questions you need to be asking, America, because this is why we're in debt. This is why these criminals are having us pay so much taxes. They're defrauding us through taxes, they're defrauding us through the Federal Reserve, and they're defrauding us through the IRS. This is why most of the families can't get ahead, because of these criminals. All part members of the American Bar Association. And remember, the Bar Association is not a government agency, but a corporation. Just like the BLM, just like the U.S. Forestry, just like the Department of Fish and Wildlife. For what purpose? To steal your minerals, your lumber, your water, your land. Hopefully these points I'm driving these points home. So, to everybody out there that's listening to me and that supports me directly and indirectly, thank you. I appreciate your time. And God bless everyone out there. And let's say a prayer to all the political prisoners and to all the families and their children. So, thank you for your time. God bless our republic.